This game is 3 years old. It feels insane to say because of how much time has passed, but you wanna know what's happened in these 3 years after Bomb Rush Cyberfunk release? This game is now getting a sequel in the future, being Hyperfunk. And Jet Set Radio 3 has been revealed and then leaked. Twice. Kinda crazy how time has flown by. It got me feeling a little nostalgic because I remember I was pretty critical of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk before it released. There was a lot of hype riding on this game, especially since we weren't getting any sort of Jet Set Radio content at the time.
You're gonna die tomorrow.
Right? We're gonna kill you tomorrow. You have no hope.
You're gonna die.
Just accept it.
Which, I'll admit, I didn't think it would fill in that void that Jet Set Radio had left during that time. But I'm glad I was wrong. And this game is probably how a lot of you probably found my channel. So, I figured now would be the best time, if any, to go back to Bomb Rush Cyberfunk and just see how much has it held up. Is it really still that good? Did I overglaze this game? Why did it leave such a huge impact on me? Well, we're gonna talk all about it, so buckle up and get ready. So let's talk about the most important thing for everyone when it comes to this game, the music. Yes, we all know Bomb Rush Cyberfunk soundtrack is amazing, but why is it so good? Of course, a lot of the songs themselves sound good, but it's the way Bomb Rush Cyberfunk use all of these songs. I talked about this in my video comparing Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack to Bomb Rush Cyberfunk soundtrack, which you can watch after this video. But the way Bomb Rush Cyberfunk uses their songs to not only enhance the story, but also the environments of the game is really well thought out. For example, each rival gang that the Bomb Rush crew goes up against have their own dedicated mixtape that plays in each chapter. There's dedicated songs that play when you're in the dream sequences. There are songs that only play when you have a boss fight against the police. Songs that only play during specific story events or for specific characters. This is what makes Bomb Rush Cyberfunk soundtrack really stand out for me. Every song has a purpose in when and where they're being used in this game. Now, do all of the songs hit? No. It's been 3 years and I still have nothing nice to say about Big City Life. I just think that song is easily the worst in the soundtrack. Especially when this game first released, where the songs that you picked from your phone couldn't continue playing and it kept restarting to the initial mixtape of that chapter. So I just had to keep hearing Big City Life repeating over and over again. Yeah, it was not fun. Which is the same reason I ended up disliking Jack the Funk over time, even though I think that song is actually pretty decent. Trinitron doesn't really leave much of an impact on me either, but for the lows of the soundtrack, the highs are like extremely high. Get Enough and The People are peak Hideki Naganuma. Light Switch by Sky Blue is the most relaxing, chill, and mellow song that perfectly encapsulates the vibe of the hideout. Hair Done, Nail Done is a bad bitch anthem, and I will defend this song to the day I hit the grave. Morning Glow, ascending me to the high heavens every time it comes on. Precious Thing, an entire song talking about ass. I mean, how could you not love that? I Wanna Know by Too Mellow. I think we already know. We already know. If there's one song that everyone keeps talking about how amazing it is, it's definitely that one. It is like the unofficial theme song for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk for a lot of people. But if there's one song that has captured my heart the most, it is Condensed Milk. The first time I played this game and I heard this song, I was just in complete awe at how different it was. In this same game where you see someone get their head cut off, you hear this poppy electronic Japanese song and it's so good. I was literally obsessed with this song for months when I was deep into my Bomb Rush Cyberfunk hyperfixation. It's still my favorite song in the soundtrack easily. So yeah, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk soundtrack is very good, but you already knew that. To talk about the aesthetics, if you're a fan of the 6th generation of console, then this game hits all of the right notes for you. The blockiness of the character models really makes it look like you're playing this game on the original Xbox. Even down to the characters kind of keeping that same one expression on their faces. All the trick animations and dances for the characters all look so good as well. If you've seen the video of Dion doing the popping dance for the Franks, it's genuinely amazing. That guy has some sick movement. The world of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is massive, and every level in this game feels very distinct from each other. Versum Hill's orange color palette, the greens of Brink Terminal, the yellows of Pyramid Island, Matan being the only nighttime level in the game, and then of course the dream sequences, which I think are the main attractions and the best looking levels in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. While this game is mimicking an old art style, it doesn't feel outdated at all. It's like a refresh of this old art style, and I think in the future it will continue to hold up very well. Even if the game looks old, as long as the art style is cohesive, it's going to stand the test of time. And I think Bomb Rush Cyberfunk will continue to be looked back on fondly with what it did with his art style. The story of this game, when you look back and think about it, is honestly insane. It's very silly and also kind of dumb, but also very entertaining at the same time. Just think about it. The only reason this story kicks off is because this white boy over here was upset that he lost in a fair competition, which he was already cheating in, by the way. And his next course of action was to murder the guy who beat him by pushing him off of a ladder where he gets his head cut off by a fan. Extreme sore loser behavior. So DJ Cyber, rightfully so, upset that his friend got his head cut off, goes and finds Foe, this sore loser, and says, you know what, a head for a head, and cuts his head off too. And you know what? He's completely valid and also committing murder. Okay, so Foe goes to jail for killing someone, right? That makes sense. But it's funny when you think about how his father was also a cop, and he was using the fact that his father was a cop to jail other writers so that he can have more advantage over others. So if everything had gone according to plan, he probably would have gotten away with it and became All City. I do wonder, how did Trice even get caught up in this situation to be thrown in jail? I guess we'll just never know. But Trice meets Foe and he breaks him out of jail. And when I think about Foe suggesting that he and Trice should be in a crew together, he was going to use Trice and Bell to become All City, and it would have worked. But DJ Cyber came in and he was choking the hell out of this cop, by the way, and he cut off Foe's head. He got his lick back for Felix. So now we get to the really silly part of the story. So Foe's head is now with the police, and the police are going to use Foe's head to get rid of the writers. And they're going to use their new experiment, Project Algo, to make this happen. Meanwhile, Foe's body is swimming with Trice after they jumped off the building, right? Meanwhile, Bling Bling Boy over here, aka the Flesh Prince, has Felix's head inside his cyber head. But he's like, damn, I need a body to put this in or it's over. So talk about coincidence when Trice comes in with a fresh body talking about this white boy I saved lost his head and he needs a new head. So Flesh Prince sees this and he's like, alright, yeah, this could definitely work. I got you, Trice. And so begins the story of the Bomb Rush crew becoming All City while helping the newly formed Red get his head back. Okay, so the setup, already crazy. But let's talk about the plan between DJ Cyber and Vinyl. So Felix loses his memory of who he is after he got his head cut off from his body. So DJ Cyber and Vinyl gamble on Red going with the Bomb Rush crew on their quest to become All City. Now, in theory, not a bad idea because Felix became All City once already. So if he tries to go for All City again, maybe he'll remember. And not only that, this time he'll have a lesson in learning to do things with others and having friends. Okay, fair enough. But my next question is, what were they going to do if the Bomb Rush crew were not good enough to become All City? Would they just leave Red without his memories? DJ Cyber and Vinyl would be pretty shitty friends if they allowed that to happen. Vinyl is there to be the overseer for the Bomb Rush crew to make sure the plan is going well. She comes in at chapter 3 to be a vague poster to the Bomb Rush crew, only giving hints to who Red actually is. And she was low-key going to reveal it to the Bomb Rush crew until Escher came in and shot Red's head.
This your warning shot!
And then she went back to keeping it a secret. Now, here's something I noticed that was really funny. So when Belle asks whose head is actually in that cyber head, Vinyl tells them she can't say because the head that's in the cyber head is public enemy number 1 and everyone is out to get them. And by everyone, she means Foe and the police. And you know what? Fair point. Especially with how Project Algo allowed Escher to find the Bomb Rush crew's hideout. But then we get to chapter 5 when Solus accidentally reveals that Red was Felix the entire time, and this whole time Foe didn't know that was Felix. So Vinyl could have told the Bomb Rush crew earlier that Felix was actually in the cyberhead, and they still would have gotten away with the secrecy. Now, you're probably thinking, Rising, aren't you nitpicking a little too much on the story, you fucking nerd? And you know what? Yes, I am. But it's not to say that the story is bad. Far from it. I don't think the story is bad. I just find these contradictions and the premise very funny. But that's what makes the story so entertaining. The other thing that makes the story so entertaining are our cast of characters. I love the fact that we have a large cast of characters interacting with each other throughout the main story. Red, aka Felix, is such a great protag. I love how aloof he can be in a lot of situations. And I really like his determination and drive to become All City. Trice is the straight man of the group, and this guy is hilarious with a lot of his responses. And the fact that his face is just this for the majority of the game makes a lot of his dialogue even funnier. Belle being the happy-go-lucky character obsessed with her phone, I just love the energy and vibe that she brings to the group. The rival characters are also dope as well, the Franks being these giant basketball monsters, Eclipse being these girls obsessed with astrology and also being very sassy with you, .exe talking trash to you in a lot of internet lingo. I even like the fact that Devil Theory are a bunch of rats that work with the police, and that's how they get ahead. It's a unique subversion of expectations from what you're used to from Jet Set Radio. And Foe is a great antagonist for this game. Despite being a writer like everyone else, he is actually the antithesis of what a writer should be and has no sort of integrity whatsoever. He's just a scumbag and a crybaby. And then there's also Solus, who is an absolute freakazoid. He's the kind of freak that makes you feel extremely uncomfortable, but he's also a nice guy. He's like your homeboy who's extremely chill, but he's also an extreme gooner that can get really weird. There is another character that actually diverged my expectations, and that was Irene. Now, when you first meet Irene, she is your first boss fight when Foe and Trice are trying to escape from jail. And you think she's going to be the Hayashi slash Onishima stand-in, where she would just come in constantly to try and stop you. But you see at the start of the second chapter, she doesn't feel comfortable going through with this Project Algo plan. And even warning Chief Burlag that they don't know what's actually going on in Foe's head, so they shouldn't go through with the plan. But the guy doesn't listen, and sure enough, she was right, and Chief Burlag dies. You don't really see her trying to oppose the writers after the first chapter. And by the end, once Foe takes over Project Algo and takes over the entire police force, she actually comes back to help the Bomb Rush crew and gives Felix his body back. So I like how we got two subversions of expectations from two different characters. A cop that actually wants to do the right thing, and a writer that's just pure evil. However, not every character was treated equally. For example, Chief Burlag, as I just mentioned, you only see him twice throughout the game, and while it looks like that he's going to be the main bad guy, he just dies the next time you see him. And you would think after Escher gets this really cool introduction in chapter 2 that he was going to be a rival to the Bomb Rush crew. He dies at the start of chapter 4. So those guys were wasted, but I think the real disappointment comes from the other recruitable characters that you can bring to the Bomb Rush crew. You can recruit these guys throughout the game, and during these recruitments, this is their chance to show their personalities. Rave, unfortunately, doesn't really have anything distinct about her. Mesh is just a chill guy. Shine, my beloved, my darling, my wife, she's in the thumbnail for a reason, did you peep? She has a little more to her than the previous two, very eccentric when it comes to her dancing. She can act very bratty when you don't pick her in a hideout. And she clearly loves giving me the runaround with all the chasing I have to do to recruit her. But again, it's not much. Rise is an internet influencer. I think that's a pretty cool concept for a character, but it doesn't go any further than her recruitment. And then Koyo is a chill guy. And when you recruit these guys, they don't get to comment on the current situation like the other playable characters. They just exist to be selected, and that's it. And I find that really disappointing. Especially when you see all the work the team has put into to give the other characters specific dialogues during specific sections of the game. Very similar to what Jet Set Radio Future was able to do with their other recruitable characters, but everyone else didn't get the same treatment in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. It sucks, but overall, it doesn't really change the fact that I really do enjoy this game's story and characters. I think for me, this was the highlight of the game, and still is. But now we gotta talk about the gameplay. Has the gameplay held up in 2026? Yes. I'll say this, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk isn't exactly a demanding game. Moving around with the characters is very fluid and responsive. The movement speed, while slow, is very helpful for basic platforming and maneuvering around these large levels. Especially having an air dash to help redirect your trajectory when you mess up a jump. As long as you have basic platforming and map knowledge, you'll be able to breeze through Bomb Rush Cyberfunk no problem. And even if you do get lost, the game has an indicator on the phone to help show you where you need to go. The main hurdle for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is definitely going to be the combo system. It's a little intimidating for first-time players trying to figure out where you've turned the corners while grinding, and also wondering how to keep your combo going through sliding and doing ground and air tricks. This is where the map knowledge is going to come into play, because you need to know the best spots on where to hit corners around the area when you're grinding, what terrain keeps your slide going, and what billboards you haven't hit yet to wall ride on. And then once you get that understanding of the combo system, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is a breeze to get through. It's a 3.5 to 4 hour game if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it could be a 7 to 8 hour game. But if you want to go for 100% for this game, you have to do a little bit extra. There are tons of collectibles in this game, from the CDs, the gears, and the various different graffitis. There is also some post-game recruitment battles where you have to defeat the rival gang's score in order for them to join your team. And these guys hold some of the highest scores in the game, so this is where your map knowledge is going to be tested. And if you want to unlock the final character, the old heads, you have to get every graffiti in every stage in the game. And 100% in this game is actually pretty chill. There is thankfully an indicator in each stage to show you how many collectibles you've gotten. And while the police will come and try and stop you, they are honestly not a threat, and you can skip over them pretty easily. You can get them at the highest wanted level and they will not be able to catch up with you. So it's an overall relaxing time playing Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Not once did I feel like the game was being unfair or cheap or boring. I was just having a very good time. And every time I come back to this game, I'm still very happy to play it. Sometimes you just need those vibe games, and Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is exactly that vibe game. The vanilla Bomb Rush experience is still such a great time, and this game goes on sale constantly, so if you ever see it on a sale again, please be able to cop it, especially on PC if you plan on modding it. And I'm sure most of you are aware, the modding scene for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is absolutely massive. One of the main reasons this game has stuck around in people's mind for so long is because of how much modding has not only improved the game, but also just gives you a different experience in how you want to play Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. You have a couple of quality of life stuff to improve the game, and then you also have implementing multiplayer into a game that wasn't intended to have multiplayer. A lot of people watching have probably found my channel through all of the modding videos I've made for this game, because there were just so many things happening that changed the way this game was being played. And you're probably already aware of the modding community. I've spoken about the Free Soul server before. It's still very active, so if you want to participate in all of the events that happen there and be a part of the modding scene, you can of course join that server. I haven't been active in the scene much at all these days because, well, I've just kind of moved on. I felt like I've done everything I've wanted to in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk and just decided to move on. Simple as that. The one thing I've taken from being a part of the modding community was learning how to use Blender. I picked up Blender for the specific reason of wanting to add more Persona characters as character mods in this game. It was very confusing and very intimidating, but I was able to learn. And now I'm finally able to play my girl Rise Kuchikawa in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I did a lot of character mods for this game. Would I say I was amazing? No, I was just okay. Again, my main motivation was just wanting to see more Persona characters be modded into Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and I'm glad I was able to gain that skill with the help of a bunch of people from the Free Soul server when I was active there. It honestly makes me a little sad that I can't re-experience Bomb Rush Cyberfunk for the first time again, because those moments were special. I mean, I still have the first time I streamed the game on my YouTube channel, but man, that's just a feeling I can't replicate. I was 24 when Bomb Rush Cyberfunk released. Now I'm 27, soon to be 28 next year. Man, I'm getting old. Hyperfunk will soon be bestowed upon us, and I can't wait for that feeling to come back like it did when I first played Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and I am just so excited for Hyperfunk. So to answer the question, yes, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is still this good in 2026 and probably for eternity. Do I overglaze this game? Kind of, but I don't care. I love Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and that's never going to change.